ボール来る。そんで止まる。
Haikyuu is one of the anime community's modern-day treasures. Hype moments, emotional scenes, a great and diverse cast of ambitious characters, and best of all, of course, fan service for everyone. And now that the manga has finally finished, and let me tell you, anime-only watchers, you've still got a hell of an emotional roller coaster waiting for you, I feel like it would only make sense to talk about what makes Haikyuu stand out in a genre that is oversaturated, to say the least. Let's see exactly what makes Haikyuu the perfect sports anime. Sports anime usually begin with the main protagonist having to build a team. In A Hero no Sora, for example, the main character has to recruit every single member on his own and help to train them from the ground up. And I feel like this long team building arc distracts from what we enjoy in a sports anime. The sports. Oftentimes shows will have an initial team of underdog sophomores and juniors that the protagonist joins, and then adds a couple more freshman recruits along the way, so the show can get to the sports as soon as possible and let the team building gradually happen. I mean, Kagami is already facing against the Generation of Miracles in the first couple episodes, and Sora was doing this. Do not spend too much time building the team, but still gotta spend some. After all, the initial team building arc is so fundamentally important because it sets the foundation of the show, from the relationship between the characters to seeing how each team member can grow in their personalities. There's two reasons why Haikyuu is a distinctly better team building arc and, by association, a stronger groundwork to build up from than other sports anime. One, they didn't forget the other freshmen. This is a trap that a lot of sports anime fall for by making the protagonist stand out so much that the other guy's character development falls flat. The other freshmen in Kuroko, whatever these guys' names are sidelined very quickly, and the team building is left to just Kuroko, Kagami, and the upperclassmen. It isn't exclusive to sports anime either, actually. In Bleach, after Soul Society, Sato and Ishido become irrelevant compared to the rest of the Shinigami, and in Dragon Ball Super, Goku and Vegeta are the only characters nowadays who are in any kind of consistent character development. And while there's nothing necessarily wrong with focusing on the main character, the real problem lies in the fact that there are very few characters that the show can build up from scratch. Let's look at Kuroko no Basket. The upperclassmen's character development tend to be mainly fleshed out through flashbacks because they've already had struggles of their own on the team. Backstories like Kyoshi's struggles with his knee and Hasahi's mental barrier withholding him from spiking are only really seen through episode-long flashbacks or dialogue sequences, which limits the amount we really see of the characters' growth before and after the struggles they face. Building characters up from the start gives more room for exploration and experiences for the viewer to make a connection. It seems easy, that the key to success is as simple as giving side characters screen time to grow from the beginning, but it's actually very challenging to balance this with the paramount task of developing the main character. I mean, look at Tsukishima and Yamaguchi. Tsukishima is one of the best arcs in the show, with his amazing block against Ushijima in the third season, and Yamaguchi has a number of times where his serves prove as valuable morale boosters and momentum shifts in the matches. The show wouldn't be complete without them. But these guys? Not so sure. And the second reason Haikyuu's team building arc is superior is that the upperclassmen don't feel obsolete in Haikyuu at the beginning. In Kuroko no Basket, the upperclassmen are by no means weak. However, they are, similar to the other freshmen, sidelined in the first season of the show to give room for Kagami and Kuroko and left to shine in the later seasons when there's actual stakes. Taking a heavy loss at the end of the first season in a preliminary tournament is shared by both Haikyuu and Kuroko no Basket to give the characters inspiration to grow and become stronger. And in Kuroko, the team skyrockets after this arc. This is also based on the more supernatural premise of Kuroko no Basket with the zone, which I do love, don't get me wrong. I just think that being grounded in real sports play is what distinguishes sports anime from normal shonen. But to return to the topic of upperclassmen, Haikyuu shows a more gradual development of the characters who never felt unimportant beforehand. There isn't a huge skill gap between Kageyama and Hinata and the upperclassmen when the show starts. While both are clearly more naturally talented than some members, their flaws, with Hinata being unable to do anything skillfully except spike, and Kageyama's ego issue and trouble playing with teammates, makes it feel like they do need the upperclassmen from the get-go, whether it's their skill, advice, or encouragement to do better. And that brings me to the next important aspect of a good sports anime. You'll be hard-pressed to find any sports anime that doesn't make this a very important theme. Even in a show like Hajime no Ippo, which focuses on boxing, a fundamentally solo sport, it very quickly establishes the importance of Coach Kamogawa as an encouraging second and father figure to Ippo, and the resemblance of Kamogawa Gym as a family rather than just a boxing place. It's a theme that, frankly, doesn't get very old, with a few exceptions. Yes, I'm looking at you, Fairy Tail. Because with each different team, you learn to appreciate their camaraderie and dynamics in different ways. Because of the importance of team play in sports in general, it's honestly pretty easy to reinforce the same thing in the anime. What is key is how Haikyuu upgraded this common theme to a driving force in the anime's success. Kuroko no Basket actually probably focuses more on friendship and teamwork than Haikyuu. After all, we find out that the final evolution of the zone is literally instantaneous coordination with teammates that can only be developed after placing absolute trust in them. But I think that, again, the reason Haikyuu shines is that they don't force the protagonist to be an amazing player. Hinata is objectively bad, and his goal is just to distract the other team. I mean, half of the fourth season is meant to solely focus on his inability to make a name for himself without Kageyama and develop in other areas. And a huge chunk in the manga, without mentioning spoilers, is dedicated solely to his growth as a player. He isn't meant to carry the team on his back, but instead he and Kageyama simply add a new factor that contributes to their success. We see how many times the opponents learn to shut out their monster quick attack and see the upperclassmen shine in the game to compensate. In Kuroko no Basket, Kagami is left to be the ace and deciding factor in games against all of the overpowered members of the Generation of Miracles. And I think that his superb abilities, while hype in their own way, distract from the themes of teamwork that the show works so hard to build. Because Haikyuu emphasizes that no player is perfect and carries their own flaws, it masterfully establishes the theme of teamwork in a genre where it's already excessive. I think the biggest aspect of volleyball that makes Haikyuu matches feel so tense is the idea of a match point. The concept of just keeping the ball from touching the ground just perfectly embodies the desperation we as viewers feel in the last rounds of each set. The team working together to keep the ball up is almost like they're just fighting to survive instead of winning. The long back and forths between teams is like an even longer version of Ippo's Dempsey roll. Constant, unending hits where you can't take a breath until it's over. Every time the ball hits the ground, they have to start over again, and the viewers don't get a break. And that kind of intensity is something that Haikyuu has uniquely crafted for itself through the game of volleyball. I don't think Haikyuu is per se incredibly unique, nor does it do anything thematically that hasn't been done before many times. The show isn't even in my top 10, but Haikyuu is the physical embodiment of just how far sports anime has come, and it feels like it's learned from any mistake that's been made before. Whether it's disregarding side characters or making the protagonist too unique or strong, and found a way to avoid them and make a sports anime that leaves no room to complain. This has been the Anime Culture Corner, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for future, in-depth show and character analyses.